We continue our story in Astera, where the guild is pretty much just relaxing actually. The threat of Sapphire Jiva and Elatrion have been dealt with by Reggie and Junior. So, believe it or not, everything's going smoothly. Transitions and work are still done. Some of the smaller hunts are taken care of by both of them, and well, I definitely would say Junior definitely takes on Frostfang Barryoth for a little bit. And well, he goes back, gets his reward from Leah. And well, everything is just going smoothly right now. There is nothing wrong. For the past couple weeks, everything's just been so calm, even with the other fleets. They really don't need much. Maybe a few supply gatherings, maybe a little, fending off another monster, or, well, killing them, because, if we don't kill the monster, then that creates something very, very bad. And we don't want a very, very bad thing to happen. And so everything is going smoothly, but today's feels different. And this is where the commander comes in. However, not just him, but the other commanders as well, especially the third fleet baddie herself. The third fleet master. Yes, master, also comes in. And this is where the commander simply gathers everyone, including Reggie and Zilla. And he simply states to them, I'm very sorry to inform you, but today is probably one of the hardest days I have to tell y'all this. To which Zilla's kind of looking like, okay, what was you doing? Like, what's the issue? And this is where the third fleet master simply explains, our researchers have unfortunately indicated that there is a Fatalis coming. And so everyone gives a good old but Zilla's kind of looking like, okay, what's a Fatalis? To which Leah's like, oh yeah, that is right. Honey, a Fatalis is a black dragon. To which he kind of looks at her with, a raised eyebrow like, okay, we've just beaten 2 black dragons. What wasn't the blazing black dragon the most recent one we beat? And that one, dear God, that one was a crash out. I mean, dear Lord. But this is where the third fleet master is just like, okay, so let me explain this, right? I understand that it is a black dragon, but this is the black dragon. And so Zilla is still kind of confused, like, wait, so you mean to tell me that this was an entire species the whole time? To which they're like, yes. Did you not pick that up? He was like, I was just there to fight and get some drip. I'm just saying, I ain't really thinking about it like that. And this is where Leo like, oh my gosh, my lovable, dumb, and yet smart idiot boyfriend. I need to explain this. Fatalis is the original black dragon that wiped out an entire kingdom because apparently the old Wyverians did something. To which this is where the third fleet master is like, really? I'm just saying, I'm sorry, I'm just very saying. But so this is where he's like, okay, well, let's just go on and prepare for it. Now, fast forward to the day they actually do get to the castle. Both Reggie and Junior are looking around, wondering, okay, is it really going to be here? And this is where Reggie actually just suggests something. What if he simply calls it here, like, do the roar? And this is where Junior's like, you know what? I'm bold enough to do it, so why not? So he stamps his feet into the ground and gives off the loudest roar possible, to which all the other members of the guild are looking like, oh my God, is he serious? Well, there's no way that's gonna draw it in, right? Oh, well, somebody landed, and guess who it is? The black frickin' dragon. And to which Reggie's like, well, that worked. To which Junior's like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. Like, you look into those eyes, it's just absolute death. You don't see a soul in it. To which he's like, nah, it's finna take our soul in a minute. And this is where Fatalis gives off his roar. And then Junior says, let's do this, and gives off his roar and charges right at Fatalis. So the battle begins. both hunters with their respective weapons, gauntlets in Zilla's hands, and well, whatchamacallit, hunting horn in Reggie's hands. And both of them lay into Fatalis with everything they got. They utilize everything from the noise or from the musical effects of the hunting horn to down Fatalis or make him drowsy a little bit to where Junior gets in free shots over and over. However, Fatalis becomes more erratic because, again, Zilla is causing a lot of damage because of how strong he is. Keep in mind, he has at least a fraction of his full strength in his human form. So him laying into him with atomic fire over and over and over again, you know, kind of beam spamming it like actual Heisei Godzilla, because you know that boy be beam spamming for no reason. Dear Lord, he does not want to get close until the very end. But this is where Fatalis simply flies up into the air, right? And Zilla simply utilizes his atomic fire, once again, blasting Fatalis right in the face. And this actually chips at one of its horn and pisses him off. So Fatalis charges up his gigantic flame. And this is where everyone that's watching is like, oh, so that's what wiped out the civilization. Yeah, take cover, guys, quickly. And this is where Reggie's like, dude, I've got nothing on that. The best we can do is hide behind a rock. And to which Junior looks at him, then looks at Fatalis about to pour out that flame, and he's like, nah, bro, I got this. And this is where Reggie looks at him like, dude, what are you about to do? He's just like, look, trust me, I got this. And so gets on all fours, pushing off the ground with such force that he lunges right at Fatalis. And so when Fatalis unleashes his gigantic flame, Zilla counteracts it immediately, utilizing his own atomic fire to his advantage, actually utilizing it to push through the flame. And this is where the guild begins to notice something. His flame is eating Fatalis's, or somewhat consuming it. Because again, in some cases, a newer fire can consume an older fire. And this actually remarks the guild, as even when the fire clashes in the middle, it's a remarkable scene. Like two suns colliding into each other. One green, and just one, well, orange and red. By the way, do we have green stars out there? I actually do wonder that. Let me know in the comment section down below if we actually have like green stars out there in the cosmos, because that would actually be pretty cool to see. And so this is where the commander's like, this is history. And this is where Leah's like, yep, and he's making it good. Come on, you guys can do it. You guys can still win this, right? However, this is where a huge explosion goes off and the entire area goes up in smoke, right? And this is where Zilla lands, laughing, stating that, yeah, he got it. However, this is where Fatalis snatches him in his claw through the smoke and actually places him on his body. Now, while Zilla is strong, remember, it's still like half of his strength. So he's not fully overpowering the Fatalis as he puts him against his body and begins to blast him with a different kind of flame. One meant to melt and merge him a part of his armor. And Reginald tries everything. He tries to, use his hunting horn, tries to disorientate, agitate Fatalis, but it's not working. He's so focused on it, he's overpowering it. And this is where all of the guild members look excruciatingly worried. And Leah is begging him, even calls out to him, saying, get out of there, please, she can't lose him. After everything they've been through, you can't lose here. And this is where we actually see where Junior's on his body being melted. However, it's not his physical body, it's more or less his armor, as he slowly feels the armor just peel off him almost like a banana. It's melting like ice against Fatalis' armor till it's nothing but his bare skin. And well, this ignites something. He feels it, the primal rage, the magic simply enveloping him almost. The magic that Geralt gave him is starting to not only fully consume him, but he feels it. His true self. It's breaking out of it. But he feels balanced for some reason. But he has no time for that. But through the smoke, Fatalis's grip begins to widen, and well, a huge tail comes out and smacks Fatalis with like a sickening crunch, breaking off another horn and sending him tumbling to the top of the castle. And this is where we actually see Junior in his full kaiju form, matching the same size as Fatalis. Now, this is due to the magic as well. He's kind of smaller now, but not so small that Fatalis can just, tower over him. They're around the same height. If not, Zilla will probably be just slightly taller. And this is where Reginald's like, dude, you are amazing. And so this is where we see an entirely different battle. With Reginald now going back to his support position, he begins to honestly start playing everything. Health, power boost, everything. With even the third fleet master simply stating, this is remarkable, a true spectacle, a turf war unlike any other. This is definitely going to the history books, where all the guild members are simply shouting, cheering, and agreeing, but no one is louder than Leah, who is happy to see that not only is he his true self, but he's still fighting for them, still fighting to make sure they live another day. And this is where he even turns to her and winks at her, and she blushes like, ooh, oh my gosh, that is still hot. And you look, I know what y'all saying, but keep in mind, we don't know how they get down and dirty down there. I'm just saying, we people don't care. We think some monsters are attractive right now. I mean, Route 34 was made for a reason, unfortunately. But nevertheless, here we have to get back to the fight. And so Fatalis is now on the back foot of it as Zilla stomps him, thrashes him. Fatalis even tries to tail slap him, but Zilla grabs it, flings him into the air over his shoulder, causing Fatalis to crash. And so this is where Zilla simply disappears above the clouds when he pounces. And so Fatalis is looking up like, where'd he go? Hold on, where the heck did he go? Nah. Ain't no way he thought he was going to escape just like that. And so Fatalis flies up into the clouds. However, this is as Zilla is coming down, and he straight up body slams just right on top of Fatalis, just straight up dropping the full weight of his body right on top of him, causing him to crash right into the castle ground with a sickening, and I mean a sickening thud or crunch. And this is where he grabs Fatalis by the wings and tears it off. And this is where Reginald is like, dang, holy crap, dude. You know what? Finish it. Just finish it, dude. And so this is where he simply blasts Fatalis back, because now Fatalis can't even fly, and he pretty much overpowers him with his flame. And so Fatalis actually tries to use a gigantic flame, but keep in mind, he's grounded, meaning this has no other choice but to go forward. But it clashes with Zilla's fire, causing another explosion. But with Fatalis' back against one of the castle areas, this is where Zilla simply tackles him again, but this time Fatalis has nowhere to really, I guess you could say, escape. He's missing a wing. And when Zilla tackles him, he tackles him not only through a couple walls of the castle, but into one of the remaining pillars, impaling Fatalis on top of it. Then, in a move that will make a Cantor proud, grabs him by the neck and rips his head clean off. Especially after a few yanks, because again, it's still a black dragon. And so, when Fatalis' body slumps to the ground, Admiral says, I think he would be perfect for the region. To which, this is where the commander says, are you sure? No hunter has ever been able to complete it. And no guild would be willing to take it. I mean, there is one, but it might be too dangerous. And this is where Zilla begins to kind of tire and reverts back to his human form. However, one problem. He's bare booty naked because his armor got melted off, and There really is no clothes for it. So this is where Reginald runs over to him and puts actually one of the cloaks, or one of the one of the few cloaks he has, pretty much around him, saying, "Dude, you are absolutely amazing." And Leah runs to him saying, "You did it, you did it. Oh my God, you did it." And this is where obviously the regular handler runs to Reginald, hugging him, saying that he did it. And Sarah's like, sorry, not Sarah, Leah's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing." To Godzilla's like, "Yeah, whew, I never want to fight one of those again." To which this is where the third fleet master actually walks over to him with the admiral and commander, and she says, "Well, believe it or not, you've earned this," and actually hands him his hunting certificate. Keep in mind, this was all of his trial one, and he exceeded it, like, vastly. So he's an official licensed hunter under the guild. However, the commander says his journey is not done. He actually has a region that he thinks is perfect for him. And to which, really, where's this at? And this is where the commander simply laughs. And even the admiral states, "Well, it's one of the most dangerous regions of all time. You and Leo will be accompanying a guild that will be taking on this region. Far more dangerous, far more powerful monsters than any world has ever seen. And they're native to that region for a reason." To which Leo's like, "Wait, really? You're giving us that region?" To which the third fleet master simply says, "Yes, indeed. You have earned it. You have shown us how powerful you are. And we would trust you to not only research that place, but be able to conquer it." And that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Zilla's trial run is done, and now he's giving another region. But something's off about this. Why has no hunter been able to complete it? What monsters lie in wait for them? And can he conquer the realm? But I want you guys to give me some hints, or give me your speculations, on what this region is and what monsters are there. But that's going to be all today, you guys, and y'all have a blessed day.